This video is going to be another one of Karen's wonderful baking.
All right, today we're going to make raspberry cream cheese coffee cake. Don't be confused. Everybody thinks a coffee cake is dry. This is not a dry coffee cake. It is more like a dessert.
And a delicious dessert, I might add.
It is very delicious.
And this particular one, we're not going to actually throw in a true raspberry.
No, I use seedless raspberry jam.
And that way you don't get the seeds.
Right, or you could use blueberry or strawberry, whatever you prefer.
Here we go.
Okay, I just added flour and sugar, 2 1/4 cups flour, 3/4 cup sugar. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to add my butter, which is 3/4 cup, and I'm going to use my pastry blender and mix in the butter. I took the butter and I put it in little chunks. So I'm using my pastry blender. You gotta use some muscle to do this.
Does this develop your forearms?
Yeah, kind of the whole arm.
The whole arm?
Well, the forearm especially, yeah. And when we're done with it, I'm gonna take out 1 cup and I'm gonna reserve it for the topping.
This is the cup you're reserving?
Yep, the reserved cup. That will be the topping. So this is what's left. The rest of it I'm gonna add 1/3 of a teaspoon of soda, which is a heaping 1/4 teaspoon.
You gotta make it ring like that?
I do. It's part of what I do.
It's part of being a cook?
No, it's just part of me. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. You gotta make sure you get all the stuff off of it.
Yeah, rings a bell.
1/4 teaspoon of salt. Kind of mix it up. And I'm going to add the wet ingredients. Okay, now we're going to add 1 egg.
Did I mention how expensive these eggs are?
Well, they're not really that expensive. 3/4 cup of sour cream.
Did I mention the reason they're expensive is because they come from expensive chickens?
I don't think so. I think you're just making stuff up.
Yeah, I am.
All right, now I'm going to take this. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of almond extract. If you don't want to do it, use a teaspoon. You don't have to. You can use vanilla if you want, but this doesn't give it. It's not a real strong flavor. I always use my KitchenAid mixer, so I'm gonna mixing up. As soon as it's done, I'm gonna put it in the springform pan and spread it all out, which is kind of tricky to do because I use my hands. This batter is very sticky. Whatever easiest for you to spread it in. Some people use a variety of things. I always just use my hands. So I'm going to scrape it down. It's pretty thick. We're going to get it on the bottom and up the sides at about inch and a half. I found, using my hands, I need to spray it a little bit with cooking spray. So it doesn't stick as much. Whatever you use, this is going to stick to it. So if you use wax paper or something, it's going to stick to it. usually go over and wash my hands a couple times. I'll start out with some more cooking spray on my fingers. So you get by with once or twice, trying to get it as even as possible. It's hard to tell because you can't see the depth of it. Okay, I'm going to try to go up the sides. Now you can see a little bit of, I need to fill that in a little more on the bottom. Once I get it up the sides like I want, I'll go over and smooth out the bottom, try to even it out a little more. Because now you can see where it really needs some. And it doesn't have to be even on the sides. I mean, as good as you can. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Now we're gonna go to make the filling. Now, the filling is 8 ounces of cream cheese, which has already been softened. 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm going to mix this first, then I'm going to add the egg. Spread this out. Just to the edges, because these sides are going to puff up and create a nice side to this. Okay. Now I put in the raspberry jam. All right, here we go. Now, this raspberry jam is at room temperature. You're going to use about 3/4 of a cup, so I just eyeball it myself to what I like. And it would take maybe a little more than half this jar. But if you do use it cold, or it's just easier to warm it up in the microwave to soften it a little. So I just take little thin layers of it and spread it around. Put my oven at 350. So it's over there. It's already preheated, waiting patiently. Is that it freezes quite well. So if you're afraid that you're going to eat the whole thing, I usually cut it in 12s, or however you want, and then I take out 2-3 slices, and of course we'll eat those right away. And then I'll slice the rest up and separate them just slightly and stick them in the freezer. So if we want just one slice, take it out, zap it in the microwave, and it's wonderful. Is that correct?
It is wonderful.
Come over here, I'll put it in the oven. Okay, it's been 50 minutes. Yeah, the top's not quite brown, but that's okay. I don't want to overcook it. So I'm just going to take it out. Now, I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, I'm just going to come in and run a knife around the perimeter so it doesn't stick, but I'm going to leave the side on. I always use a smooth knife, not a serrated knife. So it's still in the pan, I'm just going to loosen it. This is what I do to my cheesecakes also, just loosen it away from the ground. Looks like it's doing good.
And when will we be eating this?
Tomorrow. It has to set overnight.
So we'll be eating this at Deb and Arron's.
Yes. So I'll just take this off later on in a few hours, and then I'll wrap it and put it in the fridge.
So the next time you see us, we'll be at Deb and Arron's, and we'll let you know what they think.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
All right, Arron, give it the taste test.
Does it live up to the hype? Is it as good as the recommendations are?
It's almost gone.
I see why you married her now.
Oh.
So does my stomach. And that's the end of this video.